Alright everyone, welcome back to Crypto Brain. Now imagine waking up one morning, opening your crypto portfolio and suddenly seeing the very asset that the world spent years underestimating become the center of global financial headlines. Imagine people across Wall Street, crypto media and institutional finance all asking the same shocking question at the exact same time. Is XRP now moving towards Bitcoin price territory? Because, ladies and gentlemen, the most dangerous force in financial markets is not money. It is disbelief. History has shown repeatedly that before every major rally, before every life-changing move, the majority of people call it impossible. And by the time the public finally understands what is happening, smart money has already positioned itself quietly behind the scenes. And right now, that exact atmosphere appears to be forming around XRP. Wall Street institutions are aggressively moving towards blockchain tokenization, instant cross-border settlement systems, digital liquidity infrastructure, and tokenized real-world assets. And perhaps the most fascinating part of this entire discussion is that Ripple and XRP continue appearing at the center of these conversations. So the question becomes very important. Is this merely speculation from excited investors, or is a major shift quietly taking place inside the global financial system? In today's video, we are going to break down the facts, the institutional connections, the hidden signals, and the developments that are causing many XRP holders to believe that the game may finally be changing. Now, the biggest question is this: why is speculation around XRP suddenly becoming so aggressive? Because honestly, if you had told people 4 or 5 years ago that major global banks would explore blockchain-based liquidity systems, that tokenized assets could become a multi-trillion-dollar market, and that traditional financial institutions would begin integrating crypto infrastructure into their long-term strategy, most people would have laughed at you. But today, those exact developments are slowly becoming reality. And because of that, discussions surrounding XRP are no longer limited to retail investors on social media. These conversations are now reaching institutional finance circles, banking infrastructure discussions, and even high-level tokenization working groups. Recently, Bank of America's real-time cross-border payment system created another major wave across the crypto market. The moment instant settlement and digital asset transformation became part of the conversation, the XRP community immediately began connecting the dots to RippleNet and XRP. And the reason is actually very simple. Ripple has spent years positioning itself as a solution for exactly this problem: fast, low-cost cross-border liquidity. When banks begin building future payment infrastructure, investors naturally look towards technologies that have already been solving these issues for years. Now, it is very important to understand something here. Officially, Bank of America has not announced that its new payment system will use XRP. However, market excitement continues to grow because Bank of America has had a long-documented relationship with Ripple in the past. Researchers online continue pointing out that future banking systems may eventually move towards hybrid models, where traditional Swift rails and blockchain liquidity systems operate side by side. And honestly, from a banking perspective, that strategy makes perfect sense. Banks require speed, global reach, interoperability, and liquidity efficiency all at the same time. That is why many investors believe blockchain-based settlement systems will eventually become impossible to ignore. But ladies and gentlemen, the real game may not simply be payments. The real game could be tokenization. Because the financial world is gradually moving towards placing assets directly onto blockchain rails. Real estate, securities, funds, bonds, and other financial products are increasingly entering digitized and tokenized structures. And when institutions such as Goldman Sachs begin launching tokenized financial products worth billions, the market naturally starts asking which blockchain infrastructure could eventually become the backbone of future finance. And this is exactly where the XRP ledger begins entering the conversation aggressively, because Ripple has openly positioned itself around the tokenization narrative for quite some time now. Some time ago, Ripple and Arcax announced collaboration plans involving hundreds of millions of dollars worth of tokenized real-world assets being brought onto the XRP ledger. That announcement has suddenly returned to the spotlight because investors are now attempting to connect every new institutional development back towards potential XRP adoption. And this is simply the nature of crypto markets. Whenever investors see a project moving closer to institutional finance, the market immediately begins building aggressive future valuation narratives around that project. However, perhaps the most shocking development is Ripple Prime officially appearing within the DTCC working group. Now, for those who may not fully understand the importance of this, the DTCC is considered one of the most powerful post-trade financial clearing infrastructures in the world. And seeing Ripple's name appear alongside giants such as BlackRock, Citadel, Citibank, Charles Schwab and BNP Paribas has become a massive signal for the XRP community. Very few crypto-related companies are given direct access to discussions taking place at this level of institutional finance. And that is one of the main reasons why sentiment surrounding XRP continues becoming increasingly bullish. Now, this is where psychology becomes extremely important. Bitcoin did not explode purely because of technology. Bitcoin exploded because of narrative, scarcity, institutional attention, and fear of missing out. And many XRP supporters now believe that if Ripple successfully positions itself as a future financial liquidity layer, the market may eventually stop valuing XRP as just another cryptocurrency and begin valuing it more like global financial infrastructure. And this exact narrative is what pushes people towards making Bitcoin price comparisons. Now, of course, a reality check is also important. At this moment, there is no official evidence suggesting XRP will literally reach Bitcoin's exact price territory. Many analysts still consider those theories unrealistic when examining market capitalization mathematics. However, crypto history has repeatedly shown that things considered impossible can suddenly become reality during powerful market cycles, especially when institutional money, regulation, technology adoption, and financial infrastructure all begin aligning in the same direction. And this is precisely why excitement surrounding XRP continues building so aggressively. So ultimately, the biggest question moving forward is this. If banks aggressively adopt tokenized assets, blockchain liquidity systems, and instant settlement infrastructure, could XRP eventually become a bridge asset between these systems? Is Ripple quietly building itself into a hidden layer of global finance, or is the market currently trapped inside another emotional speculation cycle? Whatever the truth may be, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. Traditional finance is finding it harder and harder to ignore Ripple and XRP. And if future adoption grows anywhere near the expectations many investors currently hold, the next phase of the crypto market could genuinely become one for the history books. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more professional updates on XRP, institutional adoption, and the future of blockchain finance, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications and stay locked in because the next few months could completely reshape the digital asset industry. I truly appreciate your support, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.